Hey, you guys, welcome to another episode of the Portrait Profit Show. I'm so glad you're here joining us. We have another special, wonderful topic to bring up today that I hope you're all excited about. I know you're here because you're excited about it. But I want to tell you real quick, the Portrait Profit Show is brought to you by Digital Pro Lab and Landers Photography School, making it free for you guys. And so I want to once again thank you for being here, taking your time to be a part of this. By the way, your being here uplifts the photography community, which is what this is all about. You being here causes that to happen. So thank you for investing your time and sacrificing something else so that you could be here to grow. Chuck, good morning. Thank you for posting. By the way, I want to encourage you to do what Chuck has just done. I want you to comment because it will show up. Now you do have to click on the permission button for it to show up with your name. Hey, Courtney, I'm glad you're here. We need to when you give it permission, StreamYard permission, it shows your name and the image that you have. And so thank you guys so much for being here. Of course, I don't know who the Facebook user is, but whoever you are that just posted this, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Oh, Kitty Bumper, how you doing? Good to see you. I'm glad you're here today. So wonderful that you guys are here. At the end of this show, we're going to be giving you a big discount from Digital Pro Lab. They have done something I think you're going to really appreciate. You do have to stay until the end in order to find out, because that's the deal. But I will be showing that to you just shortly at the end of the hour. Dave, glad you're here. And good afternoon to you as well. And David, how's it going? I'm glad you're here. Thank you for being here today. Man, it's good to see all you guys. And thanks. Good morning to you. So each one of you that is here, thank you so much for being here. And those who are, that was Bill. Thanks, Bill. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you clicked on that accept from StreamYard so that I could see who you are. But wonderful. Thank you for being here, you guys. I want to give a quick intro, tell you who I am and what this show is all about. Hi, my name is Jim Landers, and my mission is simple. I help portrait photographers just like you make a great income doing what they love. Each week, you get tips and systems on the business side of photography, designed to help you gain a mastery over marketing and sales, reducing the struggles that most photographers face so you can finally get what you deserve. You're in the right place. Welcome to the Portrait Profit Show. Another one saying good morning. And I want to say good morning to you too. I guess it's just now afternoon if you're Central Standard Time, Central Daylight Time. But I do know that there's a handful of you who are in different areas or not in this same time zone. So maybe it's still morning for you guys. But welcome. Thank you for being here. I want to continue to encourage you, post, make comments, ask questions as we go, and hit that like button, hit that love button if we've said something that causes you to get attention. Oh, now it is, Jeremiah. I guess it takes a moment. Yep. Thank you for being here today, Jeremiah. Jeremiah is one of our past panelists, and I think we have another past panelist on here today. I really appreciate you guys being here. There's always more to learn, isn't there? Yeah, I agree. Well, good thing you guys are here. All right, so let me bring up our logo so you know what this is about. And the topic today is be found everywhere. Now, Is that something you actually want, or is that something you just think about in your mind, or is it something that stems from this question? How do I stand out from the crowd? I get that question a lot. Now, maybe not those exact words, but I definitely get that question a lot, is how do I stand out from the crowd? There's so many other photographers. It feels like it's just overwhelming. There's too many. How do I stand out from the crowd? Well, the majority of photographers are doing things that cause them to be in the crowd. So I guess one thing is to stop doing what they're doing. But let's get specific about that. We want you to be found everywhere, but we have to first define what everywhere is. We need to define who your target market is. So I've got a couple of thoughts, a couple of feelings about this. Now, I know not everyone's going to share this opinion that I'm about to share with you. It could be controversial. Not everybody's going to agree, and that's fine. It's just one guy's opinion. But a question I've heard hundreds of times goes something along the lines of, how do I stand out from the crowd? It is a good question, but the answer does sometimes upset people. Many of those who need it most really aren't listening. They're the ones who aren't here. But sometimes we don't listen well. Maybe you think it doesn't apply to you. My friends, you do need to listen to this. If you haven't reached your goals yet, if you've ever reduced your goals, and especially if you're one of the majority who haven't even bothered to take the time to write your goals, then this message is for you. You cannot reach your destination if you fail to define what your destination is. I'm going to repeat that. You cannot reach your destination if you fail to define what your destination is. You're setting yourself up for failure. No matter how hard you work, no matter how much passion you have, no matter how dedicated you are, no matter how much money you have available, no matter how successful you think you are, do you really think you could wind up in Timbuktu by accident? By the way, it's in Africa, for those of you who don't know. Okay, maybe you can. Let's say you could. But even if you accidentally wound up there, unless you defined where you were going, you wouldn't even know that you had reached your goal. Things as simple as going somewhere, going to the grocery store, going to downtown to the Riverwalk, or going to Austin, going to Dallas, going to wherever it is you want to go. We went to Durango a couple of weeks ago. We are pretty good about defining those kinds of things. We're actually really good at defining those kind of things. I mean, if I just got out on the road and started driving, how will I know that I've reached my destination unless I've defined it? This is the same way with your business, guys. You have to define it. What do I want? You start with you. Who are you? What do you want? What are your beliefs? What are your values? Defining your goals is what gives you the potential to be successful, no matter how you define it. Now, everybody defines successful differently, and that's great. That's fine. Defining your goals is what gives you the potential to be successful, no matter how you define success. Defining your goals is what gives you potential. Now, it doesn't take you there, but it's the doorway. It's what makes it possible to become successful. Now, I've had private sessions with lots of photographers over the years. By the way, if you want a free private session, I'd be happy to give you that. 30 minutes of my time. I'll give you a link to it later where you can ask about it. But one of the main things that I have found is the photographer that I'm speaking with has not defined their goals. Now, maybe short term. Maybe they decided they want to do a mini session for back to school. And they're defining that as defining their goals. Well, that's short term, and you definitely want to do that too. But I'm talking long term. You have to define your goals. You have to define you. You have to define who you enjoy working with. You have to define what kind of work you enjoy doing. That way you know, KNOW, when to say no, you know. It's not a feeling, it's something you just know once you have taken the time to write it all down. Another Facebook user. Morning, almost afternoon. Hey, Pam, glad you're here. Good afternoon. Carmen, I'm glad you're here, Carmen. Bill, this is mostly portrait photography, hence the name Portrait Prophets, but it does apply to other things. Yeah, so that's a good question. No matter what it is you're doing, even if it's not photography related, you've got to define your goals. Even if you're going for a trip somewhere, you've got to define your goals. So this absolutely applies to a whole lot more things than just portraits. So yeah, good question. I appreciate you asking that. But defining your goals is what gives you the potential to be successful. For those of you who live in populated areas, cities, big cities, small cities, but for those of you who live in populated areas, with whatever budget you have, there's absolutely no way to properly canvas every single person in your area. Besides, even if you did have that kind of budget, would you have the time to work with every single person in your area? Of course not. So the first step to being found everywhere is to clearly define what you do. That is, after you've defined who you are, what you want out of life. You have to know that. What do you want? Define you. What do you want? Who are you? Do you want a bigger house, a nicer neighborhood, some land? Do you want a new car ever so often? If you've got some land, you need a tractor. What do you need? What do you want? What do you want out of this life? Do you like giving back? Do you like uplifting others? What does this mean? How will you do that? Define you. Always begin there. Next thing, in order to be found everywhere, is to clearly define what it is that you do. What do you enjoy? What gets you up in the morning? Contrast that with what are the things that you've done that you didn't enjoy, that you'd kind of prefer not to have to do again. If you're feeling like you have to do jobs that you don't want to do simply because it's the income, I just need the income, then you're doing it wrong. Now, from the point of view that you have right now, I'd say it was limited. Everybody's point of view is limited, by the way. There are a whole lot more things that we're ignorant of than we are knowledgeable of. So if you feel you have a point of view that is complete, you're wrong. There's always more to learn. By the way, if you were to study photography for every single day, full time, that was your full time job for the rest of your life, studying photography every day for the rest of your life. If that was the only thing you did, you would still not learn everything there is to learn in photography. I've come across a lot of photographers who feel like they know enough. No, I don't need that. I got that. I'm good. There's a lot more that you don't know than you do. You just can't know what it is you don't know. It's not possible to know what you don't know. That's why you continue to take classes. That's why you're here. That's why you watch YouTube videos. That's why you have a business coach, a photography coach. I know some of you do. I know that not all of you do. And some of you may feel, well, that's expensive. It is. But those that have it, talk to one who has a photography coach, a business coach. Talk to somebody who has one. They're going to tell you it's worth it. And there's a good reason for it. Different topic, though. To be found everywhere, the first thing you have to do is clearly define what it is that you do so that you're able to convey it. The second, define who you want to work with. And there's some people you've worked with in the past who you thoroughly enjoyed working with. You'd love to work with them again. You kind of ask yourself, are there more people like this? I sure hope so. Target them. Write down what it is you like. What it was that caused you to feel that way. This is your target market, guys. You've got to define your target market. You're not going to be found everywhere until you've done these things. Define who you are. Define what it is that you do. And define who you want to do that with. Your target market. You don't want to be found everywhere. You want to be found everywhere your target market is. Where they do business, where they get their entertainment, where they give their attention, where they search online, where do they go with friends? Where do they go with family? Where do they relax? Where do they vacation? Where do their donations go? Once you have defined your target market, these specifics make it pretty easy to identify. We write them all down, then we plan to reach each of them as appropriate. You might be donating to a charity silent auction because that's where your target market is. You're making regular posts on social media groups because that's where your target market is. And if they're not there, then that's not what you're doing. You're creating content that your target market might enjoy. Now, how do you send that to them? It depends on where your target market is. Sometimes that's social media. A lot of times it is. But you're not limited to that. Have you ever written an article for another business's newsletter? There's a lot of businesses out there that target the same people you do, but aren't competitors. Write an article, put it in their newsletter, offer to do the same for them. There's a lot more ways to make that happen, by the way. How about networking groups? Service organizations? I've been in a Rotary Club since 2000. It's 2021, so 21 years I've been in a Rotary Club. I'm in it because I believe in it. But man, there are some awesome side effects. You get to know the people who are there, and they know and trust you, so they do business with you. And in turn, of course, you're doing business with them. Let's talk about things that you can do for, or to, or with, or for your target market. I believe that you should always have your business cards with you. If you're taking notes, this is a place to take some notes. Always have your business cards with you. But I always want you to think, what can I do to one up these suggestions? Business cards are great. I absolutely think you should use them. But one-upping that would be an info card. Something with a whole lot more space for you to put a whole lot more information. Maybe some photographs with testimonials. Something I believe in is no photographs without a testimonial. Also include how to contact you. What are the steps to working with you? Make them as easy as possible. You don't need 7 steps in order to reach you. What are the steps to do business with you? Put that on the info card. This is something I feel you should have with you at all times. An info card. Also, if you have displays, which we'll talk about here in just a moment, I think you should have them next to your displays so someone can just take them, even if you're not present. If your target market is on social media, post to social media, but do it with some regularity. I'd say at least 3 times a week. And I would say post things those 3 times that are unrelated to your photography business. It could be about you and what you're doing, what you enjoy, what your target market enjoys. Post about that. I'm not saying don't post about the business stuff. Of course you're going to do that. But make sure you have it mixed with who you are, what kind of personality you have, and things that your target market is going to have an interest in. Next, I recommend that you exhibit every chance you get. And there's multiple ways to exhibit. An easy way is one that's coming up in October. I hope you guys have heard of Elevate Exhibition. If you haven't, write this down. Elevate Exhibition. If you go to elevateexhibition.com, you can get some information about it. I'm on the board, and on September 1st, let me show you that real quick. Upcoming episodes on September 1st, we're going to be talking about different ways that people are uplifting other photographers. And in this instance, we're going to be interviewing Tara Eggy, the organizer of Elevate Exhibition. This is a fantastic way for you to show your work in public. And it's incredibly inexpensive. I'm actually surprised at how low the prices are. Check it out, elevateexhibition.com. But I definitely recommend that you, every chance you get, show your work. Now, we want to do this strategically. This Elevate Exhibition is good practice. You get to be around others who are like you, and maybe you have the potential to get some new clients. But I also recommend very strategic exhibitions. Hey, Liz. I'm glad you're here. Okay. What do you think of digital business cards? Yeah, those are cool. Those are absolutely cool. No, I know not everybody's familiar with this, and it takes a moment to get used to. And I say a moment because that's about all it takes. It's just a matter of you have a card or something that has the ability to just touch your phone, and all of a sudden your information is showing up on that person's phone. These are super cool. Yeah, take advantage of things like that. There are several companies that do it now. There's not just one. For a while there was only 1 or 2, but now there's a bunch that do it. And so yeah, this is fantastic. But I also believe in something that is something you can touch. So I would say absolutely take care of digital. Absolutely do digital business cards. Do that. And in addition to that, have something physical, something they can hold on to, something that they can put on a magnet on their refrigerator door if they do that kind of thing. So yeah, good question. Oh, QR codes. Yeah, those are fantastic as well. Yeah, I have one on my business card. was looking around to see if I had one handy, but I don't. But yeah, I have a QR code on the back of mine, and it just takes them to the website or a landing page, wherever it is that you want them to go to help your prospect become a client. Maybe some information. Maybe this is the steps. Maybe a free session. What a free talking session, not a portrait session. So yeah. Freelancing is not bad. But Kitty, tell me what you mean by that. So is freelancing bad? No, freelancing is not bad. But if someone is doing it without a purpose, without a reason, they're just the inflatable flailing tube man taking whatever it is that comes along, then that's bad. Because they are spending time doing things that aren't necessarily bringing them towards their goals. Now, if you haven't defined your goals, you don't even know that. You can't tell the difference between something that's good and something that's right. It's not a matter of being able to tell the difference between good and bad. I think that's where most of us are. Now, I know the difference between something that's good. So I can tell good things when I come across them. I can tell bad things when I come across them. Yeah, that's not the problem, though. That's easy. Everybody can do that. Although we do make mistakes on that one every once in a while. The hard part is defining the difference between good and right. That's what we should be focused on, not good and bad, good and right. Because if you know what's right for you, there's a lot of good things you're going to pass right on by. You're going to send business to someone else who does that kind of thing. You need to know the difference between good and right. So if we've defined the end result, what it is we're working towards, we define what it is that we do, what it is that energizes us, and who it is we like to work with, we have just opened the door for success potential. That door is closed or barely open if you haven't defined those three things. Yeah. You know what, Jeremiah? A bunch of us would feel that way. And this is one of those things that causes a little bit of anxiety for us. Man, we are, as creatives, we've got a lot of fantastic things, interesting, wonderful things about us. But we also have some things that others would consider pretty weird. If we've created something, a photograph, a price list, anything we create as creatives, we own it. We love it. It's our baby. And when people say they love something or they like something or they're good with something, it makes us feel good. We feel it inside. But the opposite is true too. If someone says, I don't like that, this is not good. Those prices are too high. You're trying to price gouge. The guy down the street can do it for less than half of that. It doesn't make us feel good because we're emotionally attached. But I consider this a positive. And I'm sure you do too. We are emotionally attached to the things we create, which means we want to do a fantastic job every single time. We want our clients to love our work. We put a massive amount of effort into what we do. We've got huge amount of dedication and passion. And if we laser focus that passion, man, the things that you're going to be able to do. But too many of us are the inflatable flailing tube man, going after whatever sounds good at the moment without any focus at all other than the short term. Hey, Tara. Tara is the person we're going to be interviewing here in just a couple of weeks for the Elevate exhibition. But just a little bit more about exhibiting. We're going to spend a bit more time with this because this is one of the major ways for your clients to say, I've seen you everywhere. And the more practice you can get with this, the better you get and the less anxiety you have for it. And the more you are anticipating and loving it. Exhibiting your work is a fantastic feeling, you guys. I understand the anxiety at first. Push yourself past that. You are absolutely going to love the result. Now, are you going to love the result every single time? At first, you may have some difficulty. You may not know what to do, what to show, but you've got to learn just like everything else. But yeah, even the first time, you're going to feel amazing because you pushed past something that you were scared of. And once it becomes normal, you kind of look back at that anxiety and think that wasn't that big a deal. I look at it as a wall versus a step. Many of us wonderful creatives see walls where there are steps. We think we've hit a wall of frustration, a wall of anxiety, a wall of, I can't do that. That's too hard for me. It's too much out of my comfort zone. We hit a wall. But guys, push past those things you see as walls. Because what happens with perspective is that thing that looks like a wall is a step to the next level. And when you are up on that next level, looking down at that, what you just recently perceived as a wall, you'll realize, man, that was just a step. And it was nowhere near as hard as I thought it was. Our anxiety gets in the way of our progress. And knowing that, push past it. Now, that may mean you need some help. Make a list of everyone in your environment who you feel is a good person to talk to. And maybe put a subject next to the thing that you think they're good about talking to. Have people in your world who are resources for you when you are feeling anxiety. Someone who can lift you up. I am happy to be that person when it comes to photography, the portrait side, the business side. I'm happy to be that person for you. But I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people in that category. By the way, base this choice on people who have experienced something you want to experience. If they have not yet experienced what it is you want to experience, they are not a good source for that particular thing. They may be a great source for something else. But make sure you're choosing people who have experienced what it is that you want to experience. I don't know who said that, but I appreciate it. Let's see. We'll talk more about it. Exhibit. Let's talk about a couple other things that you can do with your target market. Attend grand openings of businesses who target the same people you target. Attend their grand openings. And again, with every single one of these, think, how can I do even more? How can I one up this? Be the photographer at the grand opening. Have your images on display at the grand opening. There's a lot of things that you can do. And yeah, I can help you with that. If it's new, then these kind of things don't come naturally to you. I've been doing this for a little while. Offer a door prize to those businesses who are doing a grand opening. Next, always collect contact information. Now, what does that include? Name, first and last, emails, cell phone numbers. Collect their information on every person that you think is a potential client, so a prospect, or resource. Collect that information and add it to your database. If you don't have a database, please get a database. There are so many of them out there. I mean, you could do something as simple as an Excel or Access, but I wouldn't even do those because the programs out there for photographers, they're so inexpensive. I mean, they start at like $15 a month and go to maybe $60, $80 a month. And those are all incredibly inexpensive. The database I use is $320 a month. But this was before I could really get a good photography based one. Because there are photography based ones out there now, please get those. Pixify, Dubsado, Honeybook, 17 Hats. There's a bunch of them. And I know I'm missing some, but there's a bunch of them out there. Get studio management software. It's going to make your life so much easier, especially because of all the automation that's in there. It causes you not to let things slip through the cracks, which we all do. Charity events, donate to silent auctions. Again, if they fit your target market. Join chambers of commerce. I am not currently a member of Chamber of Commerce. However, early on, I did join a local chamber of commerce. And it was huge for me. I met people I would never have had a chance to meet before. You should see my client list. It impresses me to look at. But it's just because I put myself in the place or places where my clients are going to be. This may be a hard one for you guys. It was hard for me at first. Hopefully you're saying, I don't see that. But yeah, this next one is hard. It was hard for me at first, and it's gotten so much easier now. I still get anxiety about it because I'm a creative. Offer to speak. Luncheons, events, service organizations. My Rotary Club has a different speaker every single week. Offer to speak. Again, strategic. Make sure that you're speaking at places where your target market is going to be. This is how you're going to be found everywhere. Anything that is a win-win situation with other businesses that target the same market that you do, seek it. Seek win-win situations with every one of your target market businesses. I see a couple of you have commented. That's funny. Oh, good. Okay. So, again, I don't know who the Facebook user is, and it might be Jeremiah, but it might be somebody else. I did grand opening at Black Rifle last year. A great experience. Just showed up, got some connections out of it. There you go. Yeah, thank you for sharing that experience, because that's the truth. Again, make sure it's strategic. Make sure you're going to events, showing up for whether that's a Zoom event or an in-person event. Make sure that these are strategic, and you've got to know again who you are, what it is you do, and who you want to do it with. With those three things, it makes it so easy to target your target market. You've got specifics so that you know how and who to reach. I bet. All right. So any other thoughts or questions about that before I move on? Because I'm going to spend a bit more time on the how to exhibit. Again, an easy one that I absolutely recommend you guys. I said it before, but just in case you weren't here before, go to elevateexhibition.com. Seriously, participate in this. This will give you great practice so that you can go and do it on your own. elevateexhibition.com. You're going to be around a lot of other photographers. The public is invited to this. Oh, and I don't know if I should say this yet because it isn't confirmed. There is likely going to be media attention for this. I am in talks with one of the local TV stations, and they like the idea. It hasn't passed their. They have a committee that approves different things, but one of the major decision makers is totally on board with this, and he feels strongly it's going to pass. But it still has to go through that committee. But so media attention, that's a good thing. Thank you, Tara. Tara made it easy for you guys. ElevateExhibition.com. All right. Exhibit marketing. Getting exhibits. I'm going to talk about what that is, how to do it, how to get them, and how to nurture that relationship so you can continue. Exhibit marketing is better than internet marketing in some situations. For me, it made it where I didn't have to pay for any type of internet marketing. Now, there's a strategy to make that happen, and I'm going to share it with you today. But imagine this exhibit. You have these beautiful photographs just sitting on the wall of locations that attract your ideal target market. Your target market, seeing these images on the wall, they start thinking about it. And because it's right there in front of them, they're not seeking other photographers. By the way, in the next week's episode of Portrait Profits, we're going to be talking about don't seek the seekers. The seekers are those who are currently right now looking for photographers, which maxes out at maybe 5% of the population, but it's usually around 1% of the population that is actively seeking a photographer. Have you ever been on Facebook when someone says, I'm looking for a wedding photographer, I'm looking for a headshot photographer, I'm looking for a whatever it is they're looking for? Have you seen the reaction? It's like vultures. There's very few that have fewer than 20 photographers who have said, I can do it. And it's not that they're wrong. They can. They can probably do it very well. It's the fact that you've just put yourself in the crowd you say you want to stand out from. And so it defeats your purpose. You may think, well, why would I be seeking people who weren't looking for photographers? That's crazy. Is it? That's what I did. I reached out to people who weren't looking and had an average sale of $3,800. What's your average sale? The people who aren't looking pay more, and they don't price shop. They're not in comparison mode. People who are seeking photographers are absolutely in comparison mode. I mean, when you go to a store and there's several of the thing that you're looking for, don't you compare? You're putting yourself in the crowd when you seek the seekers. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying it's something you do when you don't have a good marketing plan. If you don't have a good marketing plan, do it. Seek the seekers. Every time one comes up, jump on it, please. You need the business. But for those of you who have amazing marketing plans, and yes, I can help you with a marketing plan. I've done it many times, and I thoroughly enjoy doing it. And you'll come to thoroughly enjoy doing it too. But if you've got a fantastic marketing plan, you won't be seeking the seekers anymore. You'll be too busy. You'll be too busy to put yourself in the crowd. I found it interesting. People say, how do I stand out from the crowd? Stop putting yourself there. When you're one of 20, 30, 40, 50, I've seen 90 on one post say, I can do that too. Guys, only one's going to get the job. Maybe. How many times have you found, though, that once that person posted online and got those 60, 80, 90 different responses, that one of their friends says, I can do it for free? Yeah. Do you really want to compete against that? No. Don't seek the seekers. That's what the topic is for a week from today. So put that on your calendar, August 30th at noon. Don't seek the seekers. We're going to go into a lot of detail on how you can make that happen. You're going to like that, Jeremiah. That's funny. I love it. So I'm going to bring that. Oh, I don't want that one on anymore. Be found everywhere today. There it is. Be found everywhere that your target market is. Nope. We're going into exhibit marketing. For me and my target market, it is way better than internet marketing. It is so much easier. Incredibly. And the people who are reaching out to me aren't price shopping. They either take it or leave it. If I have a photograph up, let's say at a family restaurant, a local restaurant, or at a doctor's office, someplace where people have an opportunity to sit and enjoy it for a little while. So just passing by is probably not ideal. It depends on the situation. I've had exhibits in banks. I've had exhibits lots of different places, but there's some wonderful places to do this. But I'm thinking of something where they're sitting down. So a restaurant, a local restaurant, can't be a chain or anything. But they're there. They're taking a look at it. And right next to it is my information card that they can take, get more information, see what I'm all about, and how to do business with me. They can get an idea. Now I don't have pricing information on there, but they can get an idea of what it is that I'm doing based on what they see. They can see this isn't cheap. I don't show anything 16 by 20 or smaller. You sell what you show. I don't want to sell 16 by 20s and smaller. Those are all in the small category. I want to sell larger prints. A whole lot more profit in them. But there's also a whole lot more enjoyment in it. You know, we all need the income. But you're a creative, and there's something I know about you, and that is you get a whole lot more out of the tears of joy that family cries when they see the photograph. When mom looks at that photograph of her family and she cries tears of joy, that's worth more than whatever it is they're paying. That's what we're working for, guys. As photographers, as portrait photographers, we work for the tears more than we work for the dollars. Again, yeah, we need the dollars. There's a lot of things that we can use. It's a tool to help us get what we want. But man, there's a lot of satisfaction coming from knowing that they love what we just created for them. And I want it to be on their wall so they can enjoy it every single day, not lost on a USB drive or their hard drive or OneDrive or Dropbox or whatever. That's not how they enjoy it from my point of view. They enjoy it by it sitting up on their wall. And one way this starts is by showing it where they can see it. And that's where exhibit marketing comes in. Have you ever looked at a catalog? I mean, go back a few years, maybe a lot of years, and they would send, many manufacturers, middlemen, they would create these catalogs and send them out to you. Can't imagine how much money they spent on these things. But they'd arrive in your mail, and you'd go through the catalog. If you're smart, you probably throw it away because they make it where you're kind of compelled to buy stuff. But have you ever looked through a catalog and realized you needed something that 10 minutes before you didn't even know existed? Do you really need it? You just feel you do. Exhibit marketing, guys. Now that they've seen it, they want it for their family. They can see the emotion in that family. They can see the love in that family. And I'm talking about families. This could be high school seniors. This could be maternity photographs. This could be newborns, whatever it is. I specialized in family portraits. I specialize in emotional family portraits as home decor. That is specifically who I am, what I do. I specialize in emotional family portraits as home decor. That way, right off the bat, they know what I'm about. If they want digital files, they might ask, do you sell digital files? But for the most part, if that's all they wanted, they don't call me because they know I'm going to cost more. So therefore, those who do call me know they're going to be paying more. Guys, that's a good thing. And I tell them up front how much they can plan on investing. But I only do that once I've had a chance to find out what it is they want. It'd be like going to H-E-B and saying, going to a grocery store. I know not all of you would know what an H-E-B is. If you're in San Antonio, you know what that is. If you go to a grocery store, you're never going to ask this question. How much is a bag of groceries? And if you did, the person you're talking to would kind of look at you funny. And if they did give you an answer, it'd be somewhere along the lines of, well, it depends on what you put in your bag. Same thing with photography. I can't give someone an estimate on what they're going to be investing until I know what it is they want in their bag, figuratively speaking. I need to know who they are, what their goals are, what we're trying to accomplish here. And at that point, I can give them a ballpark estimate. And I do during that very first phone call. I don't want to move forward until I've done that. But exhibit marketing causes them to even start thinking about all this. I want that for me. I want to cause this to occur. So, have you ever looked at a catalog and saw something that you want? Before it was placed in front of you, you weren't even thinking about it. And now all of a sudden you have to have it. This is exhibit marketing. Exhibit marketing is where we are creating the desire. This is the premise of exhibit marketing. Some photographers consider this their key to success. Now let's talk about the norm. Let's think about how every other photographer tries to do marketing. If you were only going after the people who are right now consciously thinking about hiring a photographer, then you're missing out on a huge potential market of people who you could be selling photographs to. People need to be reminded that they need a photographer. It's not something that's going across their minds constantly. On obvious things it is. Maybe a birthday party. A wedding. For sure. But a family portrait? You got to remind them. Remind them the importance of a portrait. What it means. Exhibit marketing will provide that mental push. They look at your exhibit and think, these photographs look incredible. I would love to have something like this for me, for my family, for my children. Compared to those who are currently searching for a photographer, that has to be 10 to 20 times that amount, that even if they happen to see something that they thought was really cool, would now become your potential client. Online, you are one of thousands of photographers. At your exhibit that you do yourself, you're the only one. And it's why I recommend that you guys do Elevate exhibition. Get yourself in the mood, get yourself in the frame of mind of doing an exhibition around others who are doing the same thing you're doing. just to push yourself a little bit. Doing one on your own is pushing yourself a lot. So I recommend this as being your first step. elevateexhibition.com. Positive perception is made up of many subtle aspects, but negative perception is often made of just one. Therefore, you must do a lot over a long period of time to create a positive perception, knowing that a negative perception can be achieved with one small mistake. So unfortunately, it is much easier to destroy than create. But you're a creative. That's what you are. There are many things and times in your life when things are hard. Very hard. They're hard to deal with, hard to interpret, hard to understand. But every single day we have to push past it because we truly want to reach our goals. Exhibit marketing and the small parts that make exhibit marketing work contribute to the subtle aspects of how our business is perceived. Here's two main reasons why exhibit marketing works. One, it's an implied endorsement by that business that you're exhibiting in, or that organization, that charity. It's an implied endorsement. Those who see your work there will assume, and rightfully so, that that organization, business, allowed that exhibition. So imagine a really nice locally owned restaurant, and the people who go there are who you consider your target market. If you've got images in that restaurant, this implies that you as a portrait photographer are so incredible that the owner of the restaurant is willing to display your photographs in their restaurant. Now we can say all we want about ourselves, awards that we've won, how our photographs make our clients feel, but that doesn't mean as much as someone else saying complimentary things about you or an environment that implies it. Number two, you sell what you show. This gets your target market, your potential clients, ready to purchase a wall portrait. This causes people to realize these appropriately sized photographs are normal. Therefore, they won't seem big. They'll seem appropriately sized. And there's profit in wall portraits. Nice side effect. You get known as the person who provides beautiful, emotional wall portraits as home decor or office decor or whatever it is you do. All right. Program prep and best places to get free displays. I don't recommend that you pay for the displays you do on your own. Now, this upcoming one, the elevateexhibition.com, it has a small, very small charge associated with it. I'm actually really surprised at how low the price is. You guys need to check it out. It's surprisingly low. I mean, if you were to do an exhibit at a mall, that would probably cost you a minimum of $2,500. I don't know if you've ever priced it. This is so incredibly much less than that. Of course, it's a totally different thing. But yeah, take advantage of elevateexhibition.com. Can I say that enough? So best places to get free displays where your target market has fun, where they shop, where they eat, where they get their hair done, where they socialize, where they bank, where they work, anywhere where they wait. You want this to be a locally owned business, not a chain. Something that's managed by someone who's local, someone who you can talk to. I want you to make a list. There's some homework. I want you to brainstorm a list of 20 locations. Think if you could exhibit anywhere you want. Seriously, anywhere. Where would you like to have your exhibits? Choose the finest, the most well-known for your target market, those that are the best decorated, the most high quality that you can find. You want places that you think are great, ideal for your target market. By the way, you're going to be complimenting these places. So you do have to be sincere. After all, you do want to attract the right clients. Now, I'd say make a list of 20 different locations. I want you to put a star next to the lowest hanging fruit, the ones that you believe are going to be the easiest to get. And I want you to put an exclamation point next to the ones that are the most ideal, even if you don't think that it's going to work. Again, this is just brainstorming. Now, here's exactly what to say, who to talk to, what to take with you. How do you get out and create these relationships? It makes sense that if you already had exhibits, that you become well known in your photography community or in your community. But how do you start? When talking to a potential decision maker, your goal is to convince them how this is to their benefit. The most important thing you want to share with them is what's in it for me, from their point of view. So first, do your research. Learn about their business, who their target market is, what are their slow times, what is it that they need to help improve their business. You've got to have this as a win-win. Number two, find out who knows the owner of that business if you don't. Chances are someone you know does and can give you an introduction. Here's a general comment, guys. Successful photographers will learn and do the things that unsuccessful photographers are simply unwilling or too scared to do. Successful photographers learn and do the things that unsuccessful photographers are simply unwilling to do. Be aware. This is a sales call when you reach out to them, something that for most creatives is hard for us to do. This is something that other photographers just won't do. If you're thinking that it's too hard, that it's not going to work, it works. Then you're doing the exact same thing that other photographers are going to do. This isn't easy. If you're looking for easy, just do some free postings on Facebook and see what kind of reaction you get from that. Like I said before, online you are one of thousands. At an exhibit, you're one of one. When things are difficult, you won't have a whole lot of photographers doing it, meaning you'll be one of the rare photographers in your market who becomes well known because of your extra effort. This is what makes this even more exciting, because you are rare. You can visualize success with exhibit marketing, but you'll only be successful if you are relentless with these 4 steps. Number 1, plan. This includes research. Plan what it is you're going to do. Number 2, implement what you just planned. Number 3, track your progress. And number 4, adjust as you go. 1, plan. 2, implement. 3, track your progress. And number 4, adjust as you go. Let's take that restaurant example I gave before. Number 1, go and have lunch or dinner there. Ask your server some questions about the place. Get a name. Find out who to talk to. That way, when you visit, you'll know a little something about the business, and you can say that you've eaten there. Go during a non-busy time, maybe in the morning, in the afternoon. That way, they'll be willing to give you some time to chat. You're a creative, so I know you're going to be scared. I am. You'll be nervous. You'll be self-conscious. I am too. But you've got to get past that. You don't have a choice. Here's the reality. You never totally get rid of those feelings, those anxiety, the self-conscious, the nervousness. You don't ever get rid of it. It still exists. I still have it. But because of the planning that I put into it, you will find ways to temporarily suspend those anxious feelings, because you're certain that what you're doing is right for both you and them. You're not asking for a favor. You're giving them a gift. Now, let me tell you why you're giving them a gift. One thing a restaurant owner often needs is more filled tables. I say often because there's some restaurants that are doing incredibly well. You may not be able to get into those. You might. But if a business needs some more people sitting in those chairs, you can provide that for them at no cost to them by displaying your work in their restaurant. Now, restaurant's just one of many. I mentioned a few already. Bank, salon, lots of different places. I'm just focusing on a restaurant so that you can visualize it with me. But if you've got 10, 12 images up in the restaurant with an info card next to every single one of them. By the way, I also like to put a plaque. It's just a foam core with paper printed in black and white that shows a little bit about who who the subject is, a little bit of information about them, and a little bit about me. But those images up on the wall, you may think that you're asking for a favor, but you're causing people to go in and see it. Because once I've put up those 10, 12 images up, I don't stop there. The next step, guys, call all 10 or 12 of the people who are in the photograph. Again, I photograph families. So I call the families and I say, you're not going to believe this. Your photograph, and by the way, I've told them before that when I sign up a person for a family portrait, I tell them what types of marketing I do. Who knows? It might wind up in a restaurant or in a bank, and I'll tell you about it so you can go see it. And they're usually very excited about that. And if they're not, I don't include them in that. No problem. But I call them and I say, oh my gosh, you're not going to believe this. Your photograph, your family, it's proudly displayed at Juan's Taco Hut. Maybe that's not the place you want to have your images at. How about Garza Family Restaurant? Wherever it is, you call them and you're excited and you tell them your photograph is on display at Garza Family Restaurant. You got to go see it. Guess what? They're going to be curious. They're going to go see it. And you know what? They're not going to keep it to themselves. They're going to tell their coworkers. They're going to put it on Facebook. There's going to be a bit of a buzz. So they go as a family. Some coworkers go. And you multiply that by the 10 or 12 different ones you have up. And now you have filled more seats in that restaurant than any ad is going to do. Now, how do you nurture that relationship? First, they need to know that this is what caused that to happen. They're going to see it change, and they're going to want you to keep on doing it. And so here's what I do. Every 30 to 45 days, I put in a new set of images. By the way, you're going to get so much work out of it. You'll have another 10, 12 families within a month or month and a half to be able to put them up on the wall. It works, guys. Seriously. It works. I can help you if you don't feel like it is. Just reach out to me. I can help you. But this works. Every 30 to 45 days, I replace the images on the wall. No, it doesn't end there, because I recommend that you have 12 of these relationships with different businesses. And those images are kind of like a traveling exhibit. They move to the next place, and you're tracking all of it. There's so much more I can teach you about this, but I hope that I have excited you about this possibility of what you could do with exhibit marketing. It made it where I did not have to do any paid advertising. Business just kept on coming in. And guess what? It wasn't just people who were looking, price shopping. Sure, there's some of that, but it was greatly reduced because of me being the only one. They decided, this is what I want. And some of them didn't even care what the price was. I probably could have added a 0 to the total of some of them, and they wouldn't have flinched. Man, the system works. Seriously, guys. Beginning on September 21st, I have a class, a program, a 9-week, it's 2 hours per week, 9-week program called Essential Marketing. Essential Marketing. Now, I do charge for this, but you're going to love it. This is one of the things. There's a total of 9 different things that we go. This is one of them. And I go into a whole lot more detail because I have more time. I go to the how-tos, the what to say. I have templates. I have scripts. I have displays, how to do a display, what to do for decoration, all the different rules, the different things that you sign. I take on all responsibility. So if someone spills spaghetti on the family portrait, it's not the responsibility of the restaurant. I take care of it. Win-win. But there's a lot of variables. All of them make sense, and they're all relatively easy, one at a time. But I go through every single one of these. Beginning September 21st, 9 weeks in a row on Tuesday evenings, we have the Essential Marketing Program. If you reach out to me at jim@landersphotoschool.com, jim@landersphotoschool.com, I can tell you more about it. Or you can just go to landersphotoschool.com and click on programs and then click on Essential Marketing and find out more for yourself. Price is there. By the way, I guarantee it. This class, this program, and I guarantee it with my time. If you don't make the amount of that I charge you for the class, if you don't make it while you're still in the class, then I will give you extra private sessions to help make that happen. That's how serious I am about the success rate of this program. It's worth every penny. In fact, I'm seriously considering raising the price. So you might want to take advantage of it before I do. But again, September 21st, Essential Marketing, 9 2-hour sessions on Tuesday evenings, 6 to 8. Oh man, I like some of these comments in here. Jeremiah, because I think you can handle it. I know you can. Besides, I think you're awesome. Rick, thanks. Cool. Walter, I don't know if you're talking about the idea that I shared or me, but either way, I appreciate it. Jeremiah, thanks. Let's see. Hey, Randy. I feel like I should call out Randy. I don't know if he'll appreciate this or not, but you guys, Randy Kerr is the director of the Texas Professional Photographers Association. So I feel really proud that you're here watching my show. So thank you for being here. Thank you all for being here. Man, I told you at the beginning I was going to share with you a great deal from Digital Pro Lab. So let me get to that real quick. Let's see. That is, here we go. 40% off, you guys. Digital Pro Lab is giving you 40% off a 16 by 20 gallery wrapped canvas. And 16 by 20 is the smallest of the wall portrait size. Now, I know you guys have your own point of view on what wall portraits are, and you're welcome to whatever point of view you have. So I'm just sharing this one guy's point of view. 16 by 20 is the smallest of the wall portrait category. 8 by 10 is the largest of the gift portrait category. And so anything smaller than that is, as far as my price list, 8 by 10 and smaller is $350 because it does not cause, there is no extra work between printing a 4 by 6 and an 8 by 10. The amount of price difference that I pay Digital Pro Lab is tiny. So therefore the price is the same. It's $350. Now I know a lot of you are saying $350, that's a lot. Maybe it depends on relative to what. I've come across photographers with 8 by 10s that are $20. Come on, guys. You're losing money. And I can mathematically prove that you're losing money every time you sell one. If you're not charging at least $80, you are losing money every time you sell one. I can mathematically prove this to a person with an open mind. A person with a closed mind is going to think I'm crazy, and that's where they'll end. They just don't go any further. But 40% off, guys, of a 16 by 20 gallery wrapped canvas. Take advantage of this. Use the promo code GALLERY, GALLERY, gallery. Go to digitalprolab.com, upload your photograph, choose 16 by 20 gallery wrapped canvas. It's a 1.5 inch bar. That's the thickness of the wood, and it's wrapped. Use promo code GALLERY. Now, this does say expires on 8/20. This expires at the end of this week, so that date is wrong. So ignore that expiration date. It has been extended for a week. So again, digitalprolab.com, 40% off. And thank you, Jeremiah, for asking, is it already expired? Because nope, it's not. It still exists, even though that date's wrong. It's still there. Rick, you're funny. So, yeah, I really appreciate you guys being here for the Portrait Profit Show. Your being here says you want to grow. You want to become better. And I also know something else about you guys as creatives. You're not into it just to help yourself out. You actually enjoy helping others as well. And so one way to help other photographers is to uplift other photographers by telling them about the Portrait Profit Show. Tell them about the Portrait Profit Show. Tell them that this exists, that it's every single Monday at noon. Now, on the second Monday of every single month, we do have it at 6:30, and that's just to accommodate those who can't be here at noon. But for every other Monday of the month, it's at noon. Every single Monday. We don't miss any. Okay, we missed one, but that was because of the freeze back in February. But other than that, we don't miss. You can rely on us. Again, this is free, and it's free because Landers Photography School and Digital Pro Lab make it that way. Share this with your friends. Invite others. Uplifting other photographers uplifts you. It causes you to bring in more money because our eyes start opening up to realizing the amount that we're actually supposed to charge. And the more people that know about it, the more people that change their prices to an amount that is actually sustainable. And the more of us photographers who do that, the more our clients know about it. And they stop making comments like you're price gouging. I've heard that comment many times from other photographers, but I don't think any of my clients ever said that. It's not that they didn't comment on price, but usually when they commented on price, it was actually a compliment. They would say something along the lines of, that's a lot, but this is what I want, and you're worth it. Here's my credit card. Thanks, Chuck. In closing, for Landers Photography School and Digital Pro Lab, this is Jim Landers, bringing you the weekly Portrait Profit Show, giving you evolving content, awareness, and even fun to the business side of photography. We provide helpful information, step-by-step processes, how-to articles, and action steps that will help you with the struggles you deal with now, so you are constantly realigned to the path that leads to the success you deserve. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sacrificing whatever it is that you would otherwise have been doing to be here at the Portrait Profit Show. See you next week.